It's Kringle time. Sit back and relax as we dive into a world of laughter and learning with the Kringle brothers, reminding us that we are better together.
Hey, everybody, welcome to Crinkle Time. I'm your host, Michael.
And I'm my host, Michael.
So yeah, all right. I expected more energy from you. I'm sorry. I
Actually,
really did.
I was too busy reading the comments. I got a little sidetracked. We have Rooftop Santa with us. We have Brian
Oh,
Hendrickson and Alan, and of course, the awesome Ted Flynn and the spectacular Charlie Johnson's with us.
and
Hello,
Bill's with us, and
everyone.
Dave's with us. Oh my gosh, look at it. Oh, and Bruce is with us. You know what? I'm really excited for tonight's show.
I know you should be excited.
Well, more than normal because one of my favorite places to visit in Michigan is Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm in Clare, Michigan. I
Oh
just
my god.
absolutely love that place. And you know what? Tonight, we're going to get a chance to talk to the man himself, the father and son team for the reindeer farm. So let me go ahead, Michael. I'm going to bring him in and we can get started. So if you all
Hey.
please welcome Dave and Dan Aldrich of Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm. Hey, Dave. Hey, Dan. Welcome.
Hello.
Hello. Thank you. It's good to be with you tonight.
Oh, I just love the reindeer farm there, So as we're watching, if you have some reindeer questions, go ahead and put those questions in, and we'll try to fit them in with the questions that we have for Dave and Dan, the father and son duo, right? This is awesome. So, all right. So we'll start. Dave, why don't you tell us how did Rooftop Landing start? How was your vision with this? How did you get into reindeer?
Well, I started a little over 30 years ago, about 35 years ago. And I was raising some exotic deer, some fallow and cyca deer. And we were raising alpacas at the time. We were one of the first in the alpaca business back then. And then we had some horses and goats and stuff, kids had horses. We raised a lot of birds and that type of thing. And a friend of mine was bringing some reindeer down from Alaska, and I'm like you guys. I live for Christmas. It's a big deal in my life, and so I had to have some reindeer, of course. So I talked him out of a couple of those, and they were wild. I mean, they were 15-month-old reindeer, pretty much full grown, and they were females, but wild. They
Oh,
hadn't had much human contact. Now I knew they could be trained because I'd seen them working before. Of course, you see them on TV and stuff.
right.
And although I had no knowledge on how to train them, but I was going to learn. I was much younger then, of course. Um, so the deal was every night at 7 o'clock, I would go out to the barn, and that was my time to train reindeer. And usually by about 7:20, I was bloodied, and I was headed back to the house because they beat the hell out of me.
Oh,
I didn't have any idea what I was doing. And neither did they.
you didn't get
So it,
antlers stuck in you, did you?
no antlers, just those front hooves.
Oh,
They
okay.
stand
All
on,
right.
they stand on their hind legs and box like a boxer.
Oh,
They could knock you out pretty quick.
Part
So anyway,
kangaroo.
I think
yeah,
I'm going to the grocery store and you got a black eye. Oh yeah, my reindeer gave that to me last night.
yeah,
I got
yeah.
I got clocked with the hoof.
All right, sorry. Keep going. Keep going. So you got beat up pretty good a few times.
Yeah. So after a few weeks, you know, I learned what you do is you tie them to a wall when they're wild like that. You tie them up with a 3 or 4 foot lead, so they can't get away, and you just have them stand there, and you put food and water down for them so they can eat and drink when they want, and then you just go sit with them, and you sit next to them out of reach, of course,
Right.
and that takes again several weeks till they get used to your sight and your smell, and they understand that you're not there to hurt them,
Right.
and then you start putting them on a short lead, and you take them for a 15-second walk, and then you tie them back up again, and then the next day you give them 30 seconds, and it's a long process.
Right.
But those are wild reindeer. Now you don't see many of those in this country anymore like that.
Right.
But I learned it. It took a long time to figure out how they operate, and then I started adding to the group. And we had a lot of fun. Danny got involved right off the bat.
And how old was Danny when you started this?
Oh,
That was 35 years ago, so I was probably 12, 13.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
Wow.
yeah. So anyway, people found out that we had them, and so we'd have schools come out, and they'd bring the kids out to see them, along with the rest of the animals that we had. And then pretty soon the Chamber of Commerce would want to know if we could do something in town with them. So, that worked out pretty good. And so I started, I had the idea to take them around to different Christmas events, different
Yeah.
Christmas tree lightings and that type of thing. So there was no internet back then, of course. So what I had to do was I had to contact all the chambers of commerce around the state. So I can remember sitting down and writing letters, to different chambers of commerce. And actually, I had to. This was quite primitive, but I had to get the addresses out of phone books back then.
Phone book? What's a phone book?
You're exactly.
You may
Yeah.
want to explain that for some of the newer Santas.
Yeah. So I would write these letters out to these chambers of commerce, wanting to know if they would be interested in having a couple of reindeer attend their event. And we had quite a bit of success there. And I had to do that for maybe 3 or 4 years. And then once the word got out, the chambers were all calling us. But we were the only ones in Michigan that was traveling with reindeer. There was
Wow.
very few in the country. And there was no regulations back then as far as government. Nowadays we have 3 different government agencies that regulate us.
Oh,
That's
wow.
just for the reindeer. That doesn't count for the rest of the things here on the farm.
I thought you were going to say that doesn't count my wife.
Yeah, saying okay.
Sorry, Dave. Keep going. Keep going. Just,
So anyway, we still do a lot of events around the state. We'll probably do 75 or so this year, which is about half what we were doing. But the problem is, we're so busy here in the farm now.
yeah.
This kind of takes precedent.
This is what we enjoy more. We
Yeah.
don't have to sit behind a steering wheel. Everybody else can. They come here, so it works a lot better.
Wow. Well, I'm impressed. Just this natural. So then every year it just kind of kept snowballing and growing.
Yeah, it got bigger and bigger. Yeah, we did a couple movies over the years. Both happened to be shot in Detroit. You can't go across state lines in this country with deer
Okay.
without. I mean, there's just a million regulations and stuff, so you
Right.
just don't do it.
We've had a lot of offers in other states and stuff, but it's so much to do. It's not even worth it.
Wow.
So we shot a couple movies in Detroit. One was called Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas. That was a few years ago.
I think I saw that.
Yeah. It was a hoot, wasn't it?
It was.
It
Yeah.
wasn't a
Yeah.
child's movie, but it was
Yeah, you don't take your kids to that one.
Santa and the reindeer in it.
And then we did
Oh.
one. We did one for a Dutch firm. And the funny thing is, they booked us, and when they got here, they didn't speak English. they only had one person, in the whole organization there that spoke English that I had to deal with. So
Wow.
we shot movie scenes in 3 different places around Detroit. And at one point, one of the deer got loose because some idiot left the gate open and started walking down the street. And we're close to downtown Detroit. Now, if you ever seen people go crazy, there's a reindeer walking down the street in Detroit, and I'm trying to catch it. And the other guy with me, he's got the truck and trailer, and I told him to follow me. And this reindeer went for several blocks, and I'm out of breath. I can't chase it anymore. So I called the police, and I told them what's going on. We're shooting a movie. We got reindeer. One of them got out. I'm walking down the street trying to catch him. Can a police officer pick me up so I can get in front of them? And they hung up on me. They weren't falling for that, I guess.
Sure, and your name is Santa Claus too, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So anyway, we eventually caught it with the help of some nice citizens of Detroit, and I appreciate it.
see, I think you were the foundation of that scene from the Christmas Chronicles when the reindeers got loose, and they had to try to find them all in Chicago.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. That's right.
No,
Yeah,
I honestly still have nightmares about that. I was never so scared in my life as that reindeer going down the street. Yeah, I
I
was
can
sure
just
somebody's
imagine what.
going to eat it. Yeah,
well,
yeah.
talking
I'm just.
about famous reindeer, I mean, Angel in my mind is probably your most famous reindeer. So
Angel.
how
Yeah,
did Angel's story take off? Because Angel's been on a lot of shows, you know.
yeah, yeah. We've been on the Incredible Dr. Pol show many times over the years. Now they're no longer filming now, but they did film 24 seasons of it. And generally, we were on at least once every season because they like to film reindeer. It was a little different than Dr. Pol working on cows and horses and dogs and cats. So when we needed a vet here, the film crew always came out, and they enjoyed being here and filming things. And they did some special events with us for National Geographic too.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun, and we really enjoyed that. Now that show's over; they're no longer filming that, but the show itself is still on in reruns,
Oh yeah.
around the world. So we actually get a lot of mail and emails and stuff from people around the world that know Angel because she was featured several times on the show.
Right.
And when she was born, she had a tough. It was a tough delivery, so we almost lost her. And Dr. Brenda was here, and Dr. Brenda and Danny were on film, transfusing blood into the baby.
Oh my.
And so it was quite a show that they had there.
How it actually started though is it was just coincidence. They would do a lot of B-roll here, what they call B-roll, you know.
Mhm.
Yep.
So there wouldn't be a vet here or anything. They would just show up and start running some B-roll because they didn't have a farm call to go to. And coincidence, they were here filming, literally had the film on and everything, and Angel sat down and went into labor. So they were just by chance here for the whole thing, or excuse me, Angel's mother, Belle,
Right.
Yeah.
went into labor and Angel was born. So
Wow.
they had that right from the start. So we actually, they're already here and we called the vet. Like, we didn't even have to call them. Of course, they just radioed them.
Radio Miss Brenda. Get here.
Right. And so that all got put on. But yeah, the whole set was already set up and we didn't even know she was going to do that. So that's how it initially started. And it kind of snowballed after that.
Wow. So Dan, tell us a little bit about what's involved with taking care of a reindeer.
Well, nowadays, it's a little different than tying them up to a wall and getting beat up. We've learned years.
You're glad that your dad got that out of the system for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we bottle feed all of ours, and a lot of people ask, why do you bottle feed them? Why do you pull them from the mothers? So we leave them with their mothers for a couple days, make sure they get the good colostrum and everything from their mother. And then we pull them for a couple reasons. One reason is so they're more social because we're around people, especially at the farm now. You're able to go right in with them and stuff. But the other main reason is we have a lot higher success rate. By nature, these mothers are terrible mothers. Now, some are great and one's great. Angel, we never have to worry. She's a fantastic mother every year. But a lot of the other ones aren't. And it's not their fault. It's just the way it is. A lot of times they'll come into milk too late. If you just leave that calf on, that calf might not get that colostrum in time. Or they might come in. We've seen many times where they'll have milk and they'll lose milk for a day. And of course, that calf is still nursing, but she's not getting anything. So if you're not right there paying attention to everything, if the milk doesn't get milk within 12 hours,
Right.
in that first 24 hours, you got a dead calf.
Oh.
So we've eliminated a lot of that, and that's why we pull them, and our success rate's extremely high now as far as losing them.
Wow.
So that's the other second reason. We don't just pull the mothers to be mean and do all the stuff for us. It's for both of them.
Right. So, wow.
So then from there on, we're working with them every single day, multiple times a day. We also have, now that we have the farm, as it gets busier through the summer, the people actually help us. The customers that come here to see these deer, they're helping us train. They don't know it. They're paying to get in here to get their Instagram picture, with a little 2-month-old reindeer, but they're actually helping us get social to other things they don't know, other smells they don't know. So we're pretty fortunate to have the farm open and now to help us do those other things as well.
Right.
We still work with them a lot, when the people aren't here, but yeah, that's a lot of things have changed in 35 years.
The animals they get quite gentle. They're almost like dogs. I mean, they'll go in the house with and stuff. Danny's actually taking them into bars and things.
Oh my!
After the parade, he'll wander in the bar with a couple of reindeer, and they go table to table, and people can pet them and stuff. And the secret is,
we're not going to tell you what bars because we don't want the health inspector to know.
Well, my mind was going. There were 3 reindeer that went walking into the bar. The 4th one ducked. Right? Yeah, but right. But, yeah.
Now the secret is when you take them in a warm building like a bar, you have to keep walking. So they'll go to the tables and people can pet them, or they'll go to the pool table. But you have to keep them walking. You have to keep moving, because if they stop, they're going to leave their,
Leave the raisins.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. But as long as they're walking, they're good. They won't do that. So we've done that numerous times over the years. Yeah.
That's funny. I could just imagine sitting at the bar having a beverage, and then in walks a reindeer. I'd have to actually look at it. It's like a pink elephant. Was that what I saw? But here's a question that came in from outside: is how many babies were born this year, and what are their names?
We have 8 this year.
Ooh, 8 of them.
8 of them. Babies. The names are as born. Lucy is the first one. Ranger is the second one. Yukon is the third one. Bean is the 4th one.
Yukon Bean. All right.
Then we have North. Then we have Wonder. And then we have Thunder. Is that 8?
Thunder.
No, that's 7.
You got Danny looking.
Let's call it 8.
Give me a second.
No, my mind's going.
Scout. Scout is the one I was missing.
Okay. See, you should just put it online. It basically says, okay, whoever make an auction. Whoever donates the most money gets to name their reindeer.
So last night we also just had a baby mini Scottish Highland.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
And
nice.
this little girl is adorable. Wait till you see her. She's a little tiny thing.
Well, now you bring up.
We had another one a couple of weeks ago too.
So we have 10 babies. 10 babies total on the farm right now that are less than 6 weeks old.
Well, that brings up another good question here, is because I know when you first spoke, you had horses and alpacas. What animals do you have at the farm right now?
Now we have no horses. I can tell you that.
Yeah, no horses.
Nothing against horse people, but we're not horse people. We got into exotics. And anyways, we've got reindeer, alpacas, the Scottish Highland cows, and the sloths.
Oh yeah, we saw the sloths earlier. Maybe they'll make a sneak appearance later on in the show.
We get the cameo sloth. And you got a brand new one this year. So if you've been to the farm before, you've got another sloth to meet.
And you can get pictures taken with all of these wonderful animals and the reindeer if you come up to the farm. So make your plans now.
So Dan, when you're taking care of reindeer, are there any concerns that you have? Like, is there any concerns with like the whitetail reindeer that are in the area, or things that you have to watch out for as you're taking care of them?
Yeah, there's actually a lot to the reindeer. They're a lot more difficult to raise than many animals. You got to love it for sure. Thank God we do. Whitetail is the main thing. So we double fence. We have double fence around our whole fencing where the animals are. For that reason of whitetail carry what's called a meningeal worm. It's a brain worm. What it is a snail that's in the swamps. And the whitetails will be eating grass or something in the swamp, and they'll pick that snail up. And it'll continue in them, and it doesn't affect a whitetail deer at all. Goes right through them. And when I say that, it literally goes right through them. So they're up by our pen, and it goes right through them. That snail's back outside, still alive, and then crawls into our pen. And the same thing happens again. Our reindeer is eating the grass, eats that snail. It's a whole different ball game when it gets in a reindeer. It'll kill it within 24 hours.
Oh man.
Wow.
So we double fence, and in that 10 foot between the two fence, we kill all vegetation. And the theory is that snail only travels across vegetation. So if it hits that fence and hits dirt, it turns and goes the other way. So it's going away from our reindeer.
So it's a good natural barrier. Yeah.
It is. And we've had it this way for 20 years now of the 35. And it's drastically helped us.
That's interesting.
So one of the questions that came in, since you grew up with reindeer, but did you also go off to college to learn about them?
This was my college.
On the job training.
There you go.
That's what I was doing. I did have a landscape business for 20 years that I sold a handful of years ago. Kept me busy enough until we built this up enough to where this is obviously what I love. So I was able to sell that part of my life and just do this. So
Now, most of you that have been to the farm know Scott, my other son,
Yes.
my oldest son.
Congratulations. I saw that he just graduated, got his
He
master's.
did. Yep, exactly. Just last week. Yeah. He is now a mental health counselor. Scott has been a teacher for many years in the Grand Rapids area, and he's switched careers here. He felt a need. And of course, we all feel there's a need for more mental health counseling
Yes.
in this
Yes.
country. So
I thought
taken-
maybe. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
he's taken on that challenge. He's good at everything he does. So we're very proud of him. So, but he helps us out here an awful lot too when he's got the time, and we depend on him quite a bit.
it's a family business for sure. There's a lot of us. My wife's heavily involved in it. I feel my kid does more than I do half the time. He goes 24/7 around here now.
Right.
He graduates next year, and I think he'll be a big part of this place as well to continue. We got a lot more ideas and a lot more things coming in the next handful of years.
It's just nice that you keep it all within the family.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the important thing, and it's something that you can pass down from generation to generation. Another question that came across was from Rance Miller. How long until a reindeer are fully grown?
I see that, Rance. How are you doing? Thinking about you the other day. So, generally speaking, they're not completely full grown, both physically and mentally, until they're about 2.5 years old, and then they're set. That's when
Okay.
we consider them a mature reindeer. So their antlers will continue to get bigger every year through age 7. So each year they get a little bit bigger. And at that point, they'll stay the same for a year or two. And then they start getting smaller as they get older. Because remember, they get new antlers every year. So, and it's fun to watch the growth on the antler. Right now, they're growing 1/2 to 3/4 of an inch a day.
Wow.
Some of the male reindeer can grow antlers an inch a day. So it's quite there's a big difference every day when you look out there at the pasture. So,
That's a lot.
and they're all gentle. They're very gentle this time of year, because until we get to the breeding season, everybody's just one big happy family, and then things change. So,
Oh, well, that said a lot. Yeah. All right. Very good. Well, let's do this, Mike. Let's take a short break, and then we'll come back and we'll field some more questions from our viewers. And we have some people to thank for helping us out.
Not a problem.
Are you going crazy managing clients, contracts, and invoices? Kringle Tracker is here to help you. Stay organized with ease. Keep your sanity in check with Kringle Tracker's intuitive tools to effectively manage your schedule and clients. Our seamless, customizable contract system allows you to tailor your contracts to you and your clients' needs. Prepare for tax time like a pro by tracking your income and expenses and generate reports to make it a breeze. Transform your Claws business by signing up for a free 20-day trial. Kringle Tracker was created by a Claws for the Claws community so you can focus on making magical memories for your clients. Head over to kringletracker.com and sign up for your free trial today.
There we go.
Hey!
I was getting scared there. I didn't know what happened.
Welcome back, everybody. Awesome. So if you have some questions for Dave and Dan, please go ahead and put those in, and we'll try to get those in. So they got it. Santa Bob wants to know, are reindeer sensitive to certain smells?
Sensitive, I'm not sure. However, they have very good smell. I know they can smell an apple from about a half a mile away. If you've been here during the holiday season, you'll see me out there with apples, and a couple of them we more or less train them with apples, and it's a big part of their life. An apple is a big deal, okay, and they can smell those apples from quite a distance in my pocket.
Yeah. So Michael, why don't you ask your question about Christmas and reindeer?
Oh.
And
Great. Now you're throwing me on the spot. I got
well,
you.
I'm
I
trying
forgot
to
my
get
question was.
remember about carrots.
No. What I was asking was since we have so many new Santas that join us and are trying to learn, they want to know the exact information. And oftentimes we're asked where we're sitting in a chair, or the children is, Santa, can I leave carrots out for the reindeer? So my question is a carrot a typical item within a reindeer diet? I know. I
It's
guess
actually
I asked it differently this time around.
no, it's not. I don't think we'll ever get rid of everybody leaving carrots, but they actually won't touch a carrot. They'll sniff it and walk away. Apple is their main treat, and we tell all kids to leave them for the reindeer that come. We tell them not to bring them to our reindeer because what we have happen is thousands of kids bring apples, and what do a lot of apples do to any of us? So they can only have so many apples, but they need them when they're on that flight. It's different.
No, definitely. Now
Reindeer don't have top teeth in the front, only in the molars in the back for grinding, but they have no top teeth. So it's very hard for them to eat a carrot because they're too dense, too hard. But an apple, they'll enjoy an apple. So
different from a horse.
If you really want to leave them a treat, go out in the woods and find some lichen for them. Well, then you'll really get presents.
No, we can't. I thought lichen wouldn't grow down this. It's a northern tundra thing. Lichen isn't it?
It's a different kind. We still have it here. It's not all over by any means. We're fortunate that we have a few friends of ours that bring us some. We don't have any. But it is here, and they love it.
Where they come from, the lichen grows on the ground. It's like moss.
Right.
Okay.
It's a form of algae is what it is. And they have to survive on that in the cold winter months, in the hard winter months. They have to dig through the snow to get to that lichen. Nowadays, they're having serious problems up there with global warming and the snow melt. And, of course, the permafrost is coming out. And so they're losing a lot of that lichen. It's just dying. And in certain areas, there's no lichen for the reindeer. So it's becoming a real issue for them.
Wow.
Now, I know we spoke when we were speaking earlier. You brought up the Christmas Carol with the click clack clacking on the rooftops. Now, it was interesting when you talked about this. Why don't you go ahead and share what you were saying, that this is actually something that the reindeer really do?
Yeah. So the song Up on the Rooftop, Click, 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 that many of you Santas probably sing along with some kids. That part, Up on the Rooftop, Click, 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 it's what reindeer actually do when they're running. They have a tendon in their foot that clicks every time it flips. Like, let's see here, like this. they have a little tendon that clicks. And when you have 100 reindeer running across, or 9 reindeer running across the roof, it's enough to make a loud noise. We can do it out here in a demonstration all the time where I'll run a little bit, get them to chase me. And it's pretty loud just with 15 or 20
Oh,
of them.
wow.
Wow.
So it's actual.
It's actually, yeah, it's not just some words that somebody put in a song many years ago.
Hey, this rhymes. Let's put it in.
It's a good lyric. It's a little Jay-ish, but it's a good lyric. Now, another question we have here comes from the sleigh bells mowing. How long do the reindeer stay at the ranch, or do they live their lives all on the ranch?
They live pretty much their lives. Now, we do sell calves. We can't keep everyone. We wish we could, but as we typically keep between 20 and 25 deer somewhere in that area.
Right.
So we sell some calves off, but they live the rest of them live their whole life, which the average lifespan of a reindeer is about 12 to 14 years. We've had them as old as 20, but it's not real common.
Wow. Now, there's a lot of regulations on owning reindeer, so you just can't go out and buy one. First, you need a state license, which there's a lot to it. And then, of course, if you're going to display them to the public, you need a USDA license. And then you also need a DNR license because of chronic wasting disease and certain regulations there. So there's 3 licenses to own them. And it can take a year to 2 years to get a license if you're interested. But most people that get in the reindeer business are back out of it within a couple of years. It's not for the faint of heart, I'll tell you. It's you got to dedicate your life to it. Yeah.
So for all you Christmas performers out there, it's much easier just to go to Rooftop Landing and get your pictures taken with the reindeer and to visit and learn all about them than it is to own them.
We have an organization in the country that all of us are members of, and there's about probably 100 to 150 people in the country that are licensed to have reindeer. So most of us know each other by our Facebook posts or something. Danny just got back from Alaska where there was a meeting there with reindeer people from around the country. So we kind of bounce ideas off each other and knowledge, to each other. The new people that are getting in the business, there's an awful lot to learn. And we all try to help them out as much as we can. But most people, like I said, get back out of it pretty quickly.
Right.
Now, for some of you that don't know, is next weekend, after, of course, Memorial Day, MAPS is actually having their Jingle Joy retreat at the reindeer farm. And we have a couple of the attendees that are going to join us with tonight. And their question was, is it okay if they bring apples to the farm?
I think they want to feed the reindeer.
Yeah, we can control 50 of you, I think.
All right, so
Macintosh, please. If you bring them Macintosh, they make the best pies.
So any leftover will go into a pie for Dave and Danny.
They won't go to waste. Yeah.
Nice.
Actually, a Macintosh apple is much softer than the rest.
Right.
So it's easier for reindeer to eat.
So there you go. Reindeer's favorite tree, Macintosh apples.
And save the Honey Crisp for Santa. Yeah.
Exactly.
They're very similar to all of us, I guess, that like red. They very seldom will they even touch a green apple.
Oh, really?
Oh, didn't know that. That's an interesting fact.
Yeah.
Now, another question that came across is...
I don't like green trucks either, though.
Another question that came across...
red.
Another question that came across was a reindeer's vision. What type of vision do the reindeers have? Is it an ultraviolet? Violet? Not violent, violet.
They're not violent. They were violent today. We got beat up. Maybe that's why Scott went into counseling for the post-traumatic reindeer syndrome stuff that Dave, went through with all that beating.
Well, before you answer the question, I just got to think there are some people here in the chat right now that thinks the next person that should actually help train the tied-up reindeer, the boxing reindeer, is me. So, I'm going to start training now.
I wanted you to get beat up a little bit.
I think so.
That's kind of mean, isn't it?
Sorry. Back to Dave. Yeah, here we go. Too much funny.
Yeah, their eyesight actually changes, throughout the year. Winter to summer. And in the winter they're used to everything being white, where they come from, so they can see ultraviolet light.
Okay.
Yeah. So it changes quite a bit.
Now, do their foots, their pads on their feet, do that changes during the winter months?
Yeah, it gets harder, softer in the summer, harder in the winter. Dan does most of the trimming on the feet now. They have to be trimmed periodically. Where they come from, they wear them down naturally on ice. Okay.
Right.
Now here we have some concrete pads out there that helps somewhat to wear the hooves down, but they
Right.
still need trimming, and Danny does all that now.
So that
And
way they
that's
don't
on there.
slide on the
Yeah.
ice then, right? That's that kind of.
Right. Yeah. And there's a dew claw on the back that gives them an extra grip, but it's not like trimming grandma's toenails. It's there's a lot more to it. So he's kind of the expert on that.
So does Danny have a pedicure license to be able to do that?
Yeah.
Cosmetology for
Tell
reindeer.
you my wife won't let me touch hers.
On the job training. Yeah.
Well, I could say that, Danny, you do have a fan club because someone in your fan club just said that you got an award from the Alaska conference. What award did you get?
That was Dave that actually got
No,
it.
Dave got it?
accepted
Okay. I apologize.
Basically, what it was an award for being old. It's for being in the reindeer business for so long.
knowledge. It was for the knowledge.
Oh, wow.
That's
He-
awesome.
He's trained most everybody that started in the reindeer business in the last 35 years. Like I said, we were one of the first. There was a few of us, but we all knew each other when we got
Right.
into it back then. Of course, I was just a teenager, but it was a different world. But we learned a lot, and there's people now getting into it as we were talking about, and thankfully we can help them out. And so they don't do all these crazy dumb things that we tried to do for years. That didn't work because we had nobody to look to. So that's what he got that award for. Is he spent a lot of time on the phone to people all over the states for many years. Counseling, I guess you could say.
Yeah, this is how you get beat up. Don't do this. Yeah,
Right.
that would be good on the job experience. Yeah.
A big difference with these animals is, everybody thinks, well, you just call your vet when you have problems. These reindeer are so much different than any other animals inside them. That many things that you would do on a horse, a cow, a donkey, a cat, a dog, it's totally different on a reindeer. So in a lot of instances, we know, I'm not going to say we know more than any vet by any means, but we know what's worked in the last many years of trying stuff, along with now a lot of other people in the industry as well. But
Right.
we can kind of even guide a lot of vets sometimes that are new to somebody new that got it. They've never touched a reindeer. I can tell you, well, this ties back to the eye asking about earlier. We've got a calf that's about 10, 12 days old now, that is fully blind. It's our first time we've ever had this. So he was not born blind. He was born perfect baby. And things went wrong within about 3 to 4 days old. And I actually had it down to a ophthalmologist specialist in Michigan, one of the few in Michigan for a vet. And it went through a lot of intense testing yesterday. And unfortunately found out that he's pretty much going to be blind for life. Something happened right in his first few days of life that didn't work out for him.
Right.
So he's going to be fine. We're just treating a little bit of inflammation, but where I was going with that now I forgot.
We got our fingers crossed.
Oh yeah,
Some miracle's
amazing
going to
thing.
happen. Yeah, he's a wonderful little deer, and he's very active. He's healthy as can be. And it was something that it wasn't.
It was septic, so it had nothing to do with what we could even do.
Right.
What I was getting at was that vet had never seen a reindeer before in his life. He's been a vet for 35 years or something. So
Right.
he was learning, and that's what we see. We talk to a lot of vets across the country that these vets are learning because it's the first time a new person has reindeer in Nebraska or something. So that's more of that award that he got.
Most vets are afraid of reindeer for one reason. It's the antlers, because most deer, like white-tailed deer, when vets have to work on them, they're wild, and there's a lot of room for injury. Because they can tear you apart with those antlers.
Right.
So most vets don't want anything to do with deer at all, any kind of deer. They stay away from them, which you can't blame them. You know, you get the same amount of money working on a cat as you do a white-tailed deer, you know.
True.
Why take the risk? So that's one of the problems new people have is they can't find a vet to help them out. So,
Wow.
you know, we do what we can do with our limited knowledge. And we try to make sure they have a vet before they buy their first deer.
Yeah.
So it's very important. I see somebody asking there about Canada. It's illegal for any deer from Michigan to go into Canada and vice versa. When I first bought my first reindeer, they come on a ship from Alaska into Oregon because they couldn't go across Canada. It's illegal to do that. That was back then. It's still illegal today.
Wow.
So if reindeer come now to the States, which is somewhat difficult to do, but they have to be flown in, and they have to be flown in with a human with them. Okay, so there's a lot to it. So it's not like buying a dog or something.
Right. Now, children ask us tons of questions about reindeer. You know, as soon as you bring up, they all want to know reindeer. So, brand new Santas that are just starting out, what are 3 facts that you would say you need to know these things so that way you can work with children?
Number one is all reindeer have antlers. Most people just assume it like other deer, whitetail, whatever, that just the males do. And all reindeer have antlers, and all of them fall off every year. That's going to be the first thing. What's the next one?
I'm just reading questions. Sorry. They do fly. They can fly.
For sure.
Of course they can fly.
But only for Santa.
Only on Christmas Eve. Yeah.
That's right. With red magic fairy dust, right?
There you go. Somebody's asking. No, go ahead.
Now, the other question that was there was, well, you still owe us one more. Wait a minute. I'm not going to jump there. I'm not letting you off the hook. One more fact that a Santa should know.
What should a Santa know about reindeer? They won't eat carrots.
See, now I would think that you made a comment to it before. I would think that there's no upper teeth. I find when I talk to children that they go, really? You know, so that's a fact, reindeer fact. I've also, you know, I've thrown out the paw thing, that their paws get during winter months gets really rough and hard, so they don't slip and fall on ice. You know, like Santa. Santa needs good boots.
To that hoof. That hoof is so big. Everybody, we get a lot of people that come here and think they know more than us, and they tell us we need to trim those hoofs.
Yeah, we like the horse people. Yeah. You need to trim those feet.
There's Santas on here. So those hoofs are much larger than that, and it works like a snowshoe. So they walk right on top of the snow.
Interesting.
Deer can't do that.
Now, I do know we have one question here that we've been talking about reindeer, but this question actually is about the farm. You have the meeting area, the asphalt, the food trailer, and the train have all been great additions to the farm. What other additions are you thinking about for Rooftop Landing? You don't have to let all the secrets out. Maybe what's new this year?
This year, there's nothing big. We've got a handful of new photo ops. We've got some new fancy bathrooms. You know, they're the things that aren't real big deal.
New fencing. That's
a whole lot of new.
You want to take a picture of that when you get here.
I don't know. A good bathroom is a big deal for me as I get older.
So I see somebody put on there the Michigan State with a question mark. I assume that's about the veterinary service. And we've used Michigan State University. They have a great veterinary teaching hospital there, and we've used their vets since the beginning. And they've learned along with us about reindeer. When we've taken reindeer in there, they generally a lot of times will bring all the students in because that's the only chance they're ever going to see a reindeer. Okay. So they'll have all the students come in to watch and see what's going on. And they've been very good to us. They have some, they can do a lot of testing They have great X-ray equipment that we can't get from our local vets because they're dealing with a lot of horses and stuff. So they got the best equipment in the world down there. And so they've been very good to us, even as far as billing us and things like that. They've been very kind to us over the years. And I found that if you send them a nice bouquet of Christmas flowers during the holidays,
You're in.
They don't forget you in April. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
We're fortunate with reindeer that we can get away with a lot of the same things that you guys can. I think if you get pulled over by that cop doing 85, you got a better chance of getting out of it than the average guy.
Well, I could tell you, unless the police officer's name is Claus, it ain't working.
Yeah,
well, we've gotten out of a handful of them because we got reindeer in the back of the trailer.
Michael, why
or
don't you go
somebody
do
will pick up your dinner. Somebody will pick up your dinner check because you
Yeah, there you go.
You might
Hey.
get a chance to pet one.
Well, one of the things that we do each week is we have a trivia question, and we give a chance for people to answer that, and we give them a wonderful prize from Santa's closet. So why don't we go ahead and we'll run that, and we'll ask our trivia question.
Since its founding in 2004, Santa's Closet has been committed to providing unique, high-quality accessories for Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the entire Claus community. Our mission is to deliver exceptional customer service and outstanding value, offering competitive pricing and a wide selection of products designed to enrich the Claus experience.
Now, just
that
a
was
reminder. We're improving the software as we're doing it, right? Now, just a reminder, if you've won in the last 65 days, you're in a timeout.
That's right. And we cannot ship the prize to Canada or overseas. So please have a U.S. mailing address or a post office box or a really good friend that will take the mail for you.
And as we're watching, it's the first question that we see answered correctly, right? All right, are you ready, Michael? You want to read the question? And here we go.
You want me to read the question this year?
Here, you
Okay,
read the question.
All right. Okay, where do you dance and prance in Jingle Bell Rock? Again, where do you dance and prance in Jingle Bell Rock?
Jingle Bell, where you dance and prance in Jingle Bell Rock.
Everybody's
Is everyone singing the song right now? All right, you watch. Michael, you keep your eye on the comments. Here we go.
I will. And Wade just said Santa's summer shirts are now on sale.
So
way to go, Wade. Plug the Santa shirts.
That's right. So just a reminder, where do you dance and prance in Jingle Bell Rock?
No, Kathy's not around the clock, and Bruce, it's not all around the house. But I do like it.
Jingle Bell Ball. Oh, that's a nice set, Sandy.
So close. Mike Connor, no, it's not at Rooftop Landing. Let's see. Not around the Christmas tree. Oh, we have it. Rooftop Santa at the Jingle Bell Square.
Jingle Bell Square. Congratulations, Santa Joe. Woohoo!
Woohoo!
So I said, Danny left on that. He's upset.
No, you got to bring in a special guest here.
Oh, good. Now, Joe,
no, we didn't rig that either.
Joe, do me a favor. Send me your name and address and phone number and your shirt size, and we'll forward that information off to Wade and Santa Closet. And they're so good about getting it right to the mail right away. So thank you, Wade, for your help. We appreciate it. And
look at our special guest. Oh my goodness, it's a sloth.
Baby sloth.
That you would never think you would see at a reindeer farm, right? But we now have two of them.
Oh, look at them.
Don't be shy.
She's clinging to you.
Well, that's a sloth hug. There's nothing better.
We trained here.
We're going to turn him around so we can all see his. There you go.
There we go.
My goodness.
Oh, he's upside down. Look at him.
So that's right side up to them.
Oh, perfect.
That's right. Well, you know what? next
90% of their life they live like this.
next Saturday, they're opening the doors at Rooftop Landing Reindeer Farm for the end of the Jingle Joy retreat from 10:30 to 2:30, and then Dave and Dan will be doing a reindeer lecture at 11:30 on Saturday. And if you're a Santa and you want to come out for that Saturday and get a picture with a reindeer and check out the farm, please come and be our guest for that day, just that day. Every other day, you're going to have to, cover charge.
And just remember too, is you can also get your pictures taken with the sloths as well. So
That's
yes, Boris,
right.
too bad you live too far because the sloth could be your spirit animal.
Oh my!
What's too far? I don't think anything's too far.
That's
He lives
right.
in Texas.
No, that's
That's
next
far.
week.
Now Sister Claus is I'm watching tonight. I saw her comment. My
Yes.
sister, she loved visiting the farm. You know what I mean? So Kim, if you want to come and stay the night, you can.
We had people from Mexico here today.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Now today was the first day for the farm being open, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well,
Tim, that is not in 3 days. That is a week from this Saturday. So it's a week from Saturday,
What is it? The 30th?
the
No,
30th or 31st or something like that. Let me look.
something. You get the exact. Yeah,
Yeah.
not this Saturday, but next Saturday. But if you want to come this Saturday, the farm will be open.
no,
Yes.
no.
No, we won't.
Holiday weekend.
Oh, that's right.
weekend,
Holiday weekend. Forget it. I made a mistake.
It's May 31st, and if you want the address for the farm, it is 2706 East Stevenson Lake Road, Clare, Michigan, 48617. And for those that are located here in Michigan, it's off of US 127 between Clare, Michigan, and Mount Pleasant.
Awesome. Well, you know what? Unfortunately, our hour is coming quick. Is there anything that you think Santas should know? Any last minute thing that you would like to share with us about reindeer?
There's one question that came up here just a minute ago. That's interesting. Somebody wanted to know how fast they were. Actually, reindeer can run 35, 40 miles an hour.
Oh, wow.
They're extremely fast, and when they run, their heads point towards the sky. So apparently they're looking for Santa. I don't know. Excuse me. But they're very fast, and they also want to know if they could swim. They're very, very good swimmers too. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that one. Oh, that's awesome.
When they've got full coat on, they can actually float in the water because those hairs are all hollow. And there's about 5,000 hairs per square inch on a reindeer.
Wow.
Well, I don't have that luxury anymore.
Use a little help there, Santa.
I need some of that reindeer help.
Let's see. I'm just trying to see up. Okay, they talked about the hollow hairs. Yep. Everybody's just thinking again from us, Danny, Dave. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing your expertise. We are so lucky to have you both in the state of Michigan to share this knowledge. And also, too, is remember if you do attend the farm on the 31st, there will be a professional photographer there. So if you'd like to, bring your suits. Bring your summer wardrobe if you want to. Get a picture with the reindeer. It's a good piece of storytelling.
Yes, there was something else that I wanted to share too. I'm trying to remember, but yeah.
I want to send a shout out to Ted Flynn on there. He's
yeah.
a couple of times. Ted's been a good friend over the years, and we appreciate him. He's a great.
He's the one. He's the one that volunteered me to train the reindeer tied to the wall.
Well, we better listen to him then. So we'll meet you here in August when rut starts.
There you go. I'll be there.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for tuning in tonight. We so appreciate it. And let's see here. So may your life be filled with encouragement and laughter and friendship.
And may you find the magic in every smile you inspire and always live with a heart full of Christmas.
Yes. So thank you, Dave and Dan, for coming. All of you for watching and being a part of the show tonight. We really appreciate it. And especially our lovely wives that give us the freedom to be able to do this. So
And no, Ted, I wasn't calling you out, but they were asking for respect, and I really appreciate that because I'd love to get that close to a reindeer. So,
All right. Thanks again, everyone. Good
good
night.
night, everyone.
Or something.
Hey, we're back. We're back live, guys. We're
Hey,
back.
you forgot
Hey.
to run.
Hey, we're
You forgot
still on.
you forgot to run something.
I
You
did.
forgot to you forgot to run the dad joke for today.
Oh, all right. We're gonna do that as an after effect. We've got the dad joke to run. You want to? Dave just looking at me like, dude, you're too crazy. All right, here's the dad joke for tonight. We forgot to run.
Why did the baby cookie cry? Because its mother was a wafer too long.
That was pretty good, huh?
I think
Good
Santa
night.
Kevin needs to write a book on all these jokes.
You know, Santa Kevin just sent us some more dad jokes, and we would love for you to send us some dad jokes, record them, and send them in. We'd appreciate it too. Just make sure you put your phone from horizontal, put it down to horizontal, not vertical. Wink, 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 wink. All right. All right. Dave, we'll see you next week. We really
Bye-bye.
appreciate it. Blessings, everyone. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.